Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of subscriber Justin, I am playing whatever I want. This is a dealer's choice, and it might seem strange that I'm playing Sneak and Show, a deck that I'm known to hate, both because it is a bad matchup for all the normal decks I like to play, and because I don't love my busted Legacy combo deck to have such an awkward fail rate. But the thing that I've chosen to play this deck for might solve some of those problems. This is Vesuvan Drifter, a brand new card from March of the Machine Aftermath, which is a set that, frankly, I forgot was being released, and I didn't look at it all, and I don't even think there was a functional spoiler season. I don't even know. It's a very weird product. There's like 45 cards in the set, but it's getting a whole set rollout. I don't know. Weird stuff, Wizards, but here we are. Vesuvan Drifter, though. 2 and a blue. Convenient, because this deck is already built to cast a spell that costs 2 and a blue. 2/4 flying. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. At the beginning of each combat, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you reveal a creature in this way, Vesuvan Drifter becomes a copy of that card until end of turn, except it has flying. Drifter is pretty cool because this card uses the monsters that are already in your deck and gives you a 9th through 12th payoff for them. Show and Tell and Sneak Attack being the first 8, and then Vesuvan Drifter is number 9 through 12. Increasing your payouts, your enablers, by 50%. Because the thing I don't like about Sneak and Show is you need an A and a B, and sometimes you just have like 3 Bs in your hand and no A. And adding more A's to the deck helps leverage the Bs better. Another thing I like about Vesuvan Drifter is it's just a reasonable creature on stats. Yeah, 3 mana 2/4 is not going to be like dominating Legacy games, but this thing does block Delver of Secrets. It eats Delver of Secrets. It blocks Dragon's Rage Channeler, bounces off that one. And this thing functions to overload what your opponent can do to counterplay with you. Because Sneak and Show getting shut down by things like Containment Priest, Vesuvan Drifter dips that. Your opponent's going to bring in Flusterstorms. Vesuvan Drifter does not get Flusterstormed. Your opponent's going to bring in Pyroblast. Now you have 8 good targets for that instead of 4. This adds a whole texture of the game. And we've seen creature jukes before. The most notable is Arcane Artisan. But Arcane Artisan is a 0/3 and doesn't impact combat or blocking in any kind of meaningful way, where Vesuvan Drifter does. Even if this thing is just a 2/4 on defense, dissuading attacks from a Delver of Secrets, that could give you the time you need to assemble the real Sneak Attack combo. Drifter letting you look at the top card of your library at any time is not nothing either. You can just randomly use fetch lands, build your own Mishra's Bauble, get rid of cards you don't like. You can brainstorm monsters on top of your deck and then turn Vesuvan Drifter into them immediately. Honor and Preordain can also set that up. It's pretty cool, all the things that this does. I got this list from a 5-0 deck dump, and they had split to Vesuvan Drifter to Hull Breacher, which I respect that. Hull Breacher is another different angle that your opponent has to respect while they battle you. But I wanted to go proof of concept on Vesuvan Drifter. I wanted to see it as often as possible and really leverage this thing. I'm on the full 4 boat of that. Otherwise, we have a diverse creature spread. Vesuvan Drifter is a little awkward with Atraxa, because it's just a 7/7 lifelink. Not that that's bad, but you don't get the Atraxa trigger. Archon of Cruelty, you don't get the ETB trigger, but you do get the attack trigger. Emrakul and Grizzlebrand are going to smash all the same. You don't get the extra turn, obviously, but Sneak and Show rarely ever gets the extra turn unless they have Omniscience involved. And there's not much more to say about this. This is trusty old A+B combo Sneak and Show with the spicy new Vesuvan Drifter from March of the Machine Aftermath. This is from Justin. Let's go do this thing. I'm on the play and run one against a Gyruda strategy. I am very excited and scared about this because if I cast Show and Tell, I might die. I'm interested in Sneak Attack, and this is a great showcase for Vesuvan Drifter because that thing also dodges the Gyruda bomb. I had to mulligan that first hand, 2 Sneak Attacks, 2 tenuous sources of mana. I will keep this one though. And I feel like I'm going to want Force of Will. Gyruda decks historically have used Cavern of Souls to shove it through. It's slower than it used to be. You can't just go 2 LEDs and pop. Kind of like I don't know how their deck is built. If they're like an Ancient Tomb stompy Blindside Diamond kind of mana-based Flusterstorm is going to be bad. But Force of Will is probably the safer bet. And I would like a monster, even though I don't really plan to cast Show and Tell, if I can avoid it. Flusterstorm on top. How many of those am I playing? Is this real? Okay. There are 2 in the deck. It's not a Moto bug. I'm going to bottom both of these cards. Yep, found Ancient Tomb. Those just weren't what I was looking for. I have a B, looking for an A. Ancient Den, Lion's Eye Diamond, Box Opal, Chalice of the Voided. That's annoying. Okay, well, I'm saving my Ponder to be pitched to Force of Will. Vesuvan Drifter? Disappointing. I'm going to run out the Ancient Tomb and pass. Ancient Tomb kind of gives up that I'm Show and Tell and not Delver, but so does Preordain. Delver doesn't, or Delver does sometimes play Preordain. Maybe I could have got away with that another turn. Yikes, there's the Cavern. Oh, this is probably... Oh, this is Bomber. This is not a pure Gyruda deck. This is Bomberman that uses Gyruda as its companion. It did say Demon for Cavern, though. It's kind of suspicious. I'm going to run out this Lotus Petal. This lets me hardcast Force if that's a thing I want to do. I don't think this deck it's possible to cast Atraxa. Because I'm just blue-red, and red is the color Atraxa is not. Just too bad, because I do have 7 mana. And they are going to have an uncounterable demon here. They put it in their hand, and I can't counter any part of this. Let's see if we're dead. Atraxa mercifully has an odd mana value. They just hit Ingenious Smith, kind of a brick here, but they do have a 6/6 and a Walking Ballista in their hand. Okay, deck, the coast is clear if I draw any kind of enabler. Coming for you, deck. Coming for your life here. And here's that Sneak and Show fail rate that I love so much. I think I just have to counter this thing. How much damage is this actually worth? It's a 2/2 on board that can shoot for 2. That's 4. Ingenious Smith gets +1/+1. I could also pitch the Ponder because I don't think I have an out to Chalice in the main. Oh, I have Otawara. Just Otawara. I am going to force this though, and I am going to pitch for it. I think that Ponder with Chalice in play is worth less than the 4 life it would cost me to tap my Ancient Tombs here. I really need a friggin' payoff. Come on, deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do have 7 mana for Atraxa. I do have 8 mana for Grizzlebrand, but it is not in the correct colors. There's not like 1 Tropical Island or 1 Underground Sea that I could fetch for and cast Atraxa here. Not that I necessarily think you should be building in that fashion, but certainly would be nice right now. A Mox Opal that pumps Ingenious Smith. They're also floating mana, so they might also have a spell here. But they have a second Ballista for even more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I'm dead. Even if I have Show and Tell now, the Walking Ballista can just tick up the old-fashioned way. This is why I hate Show and Tell. I even put 4 more payoffs in and just bricked. Nice. What a deck. People choose to play this on purpose. Okay, bringing in my Brotherhood End. And don't think I want Furies for this. I have to check the exact wording of Gyruda, because I know some Graveyard Hate works against it and some Graveyard Hate doesn't. I think Cage does, though. Each player mills 4 cards. Put a creature card with an even mana value from among the milled cards onto the battlefield under your control. Right, so as long as those cards are going to the graveyard, Grafdigger's Cage does work against it. Rest in Peace does not work against Gyruda. because Gyruda doesn't say anything about the graveyard. It just say from among the milled cards, so they could mill straight into exile and you could still do what you want. So Leyline of the Void, Rest in Peace don't work against Gyruda. Cage does, unless they have Rest in Peace, but they wouldn't put that in their bomber deck. Kind of awkward bringing in all this graveyard hate, or all this artifact hate, and 2 hateful artifacts. Maybe I don't want Cage. I think Gyruda is a backup plan. They're a mono-white bomber deck. Fluster, Fluster, and I gotta find one more cut. I don't really want to cut a cantrip. I don't really want to cut any of my other cards. Maybe Simian Spirit Guide? Sure. Seems to be floating on its own little island. This is not a Daze deck. I'm gonna mulligan this hand with 4 Bs and 0 As. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna keep this. It has access to turn 2 Emrakul, and it has a hate card. I'm gonna bottom Basic Mountain. And they're a mono-white deck. Mono-white is known for its plethora of answers to something like Emrakul. They just simply have to have a Karakas. They're fine. Or any Oblivion Ring, Touch the Spirit Realm, whatever. They could also put in Auriok Salvagers and just win the game. Ooh, Drifter. Okay. Now I have the choice. Drifter dodges the hate things that we just talked about. They could Pyroblast either one. I'm unlikely to just freaking die. I can't cast Brotherhood's End this turn, which does destroy all of their permanents. I think I'm going to go for Drifter, not Show and Tell. Because if I can just not kill myself with a Show and Tell here and untap and cast Brotherhood's End, they're definitely losing. Oh, Atraxa on top. Doesn't help me right now because haste is not one of the words Atraxa has. Yep, I'm not gonna give them that info for free. Thought Not Seer. Disappointed. Someone else has a juke. And luckily Show and Tell and Brotherhood's End are both horrifying for them. If they take End, I'm gonna jam Show, and if they take Show, I'm gonna jam End. Thought Not Seer though. Took my Emrakul. Fascinating. I guess they think that's good. Okay, that's fine. Brainstorm on top of my deck. That lets Drifter get rowdy next turn. Oh, I just shuffled my deck, which means Drifter gets rowdy now. Okay, let's start combat first. I would like to reveal this Archon on top of my deck. And attack, kill your Thought Not Seer, draw a card, you discard a card, and then I take your entire board. Okay, Drifter. Good showcase of that one. Now we've seen Thought Not Seer. I don't think that changes anything. In my interest level in Fury is maybe changed a little. Fury does kill Salvagers and Ingenious Smith and now Thought Not Seer, but I already had trouble finding sideboard spot for the cards that I know I wanted. Yeah, I'm not going to put Fury in my deck. I'm still a busted combo deck. I don't want to slow down too much. Okay, this hand can counter a Chalice and can cantrip pretty well, and I have an A, just need to find a B. Ancient Den, go. I like that start. They also mulliganed. Change their mind. They have a Lotus Petal. And a Mox Opal. And a Talisman of Conviction. Sure. You have all these cards. I also have a Lotus Petal. That lets me turn to the Show and Tell if I find a monster here. And I did. I also found a Meltdown with the shit. I could Lotus Petal Meltdown. That honestly seems completely cracked. They get to keep their Talisman, but they lose Petal Opal. I could 3-for-2 them and slow down into a turn 3 Archon, and I make sure I don't die in the meantime. Wow, that's exciting. The way I lose this game is if they go Cavern on Human, Salvagers, and then have Ballista and LED. But even if they do that, that would take every card in their hand. It would have to be the Nut Perfects. Wow, this is so tempting. Though I also have just turn 2 Show and Tell with Force Backup. I'm gonna do this. This is a pretty big deal. Let's kill 3 permanents. Yeah, let's go. Hopefully that slowed down a Thought Not Seer or something else that would mess me up. Ponder. Was looking for a mana source here. Found Ancient Tomb and a backup Show and Tell. I'm gonna put Drifter above it though. Don't shuffle, play Scalding Tar, and pass the turn. Okay, here we are. Now I'm back on to hoping that casting Show and Tell doesn't kill me, but I'm absolutely going to cast Show and Tell here. If they put in a creature, it dies to Archon and Pyroblast here. Uh-oh. Well, I have a counterspell, right? I planned for this. Planned for this possibility. Archon, Lion's Eye Diamond, and they scooped it up. Okay. We experienced my absolute misery of having a clear runway in game one and the deck just not delivering the piece that I needed. And then we absolutely smeared our opponent across the earth through multiple pieces of disruption in game 2 and 3. So I retract my statement of people choose to play this deck on purpose. I get it. I really do. It's just very difficult for me as a Uro, Shark Typhoon, Timeless Dragon, Narset, I never want to miss a land drop kind of gamer to play a deck that sometimes just loses to itself. There's no resistance from the opponent. But we are on the board, 1-0, let's go.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I am on the play in round 2 with a hand that I'm a little suspicious of, but I think we keep these. It has A and B, it just doesn't have mana to cast them, but it does have Brainstorm to look. I think I'm just going to Island Go and take a draw step, and then Brainstorm and see as many cards as possible, because if we get to 3 mana, this hand rocks. Windswept Teeth. Okay. Tropical Island. Less interested now. Oh, we've got some Infect in the chat. Ancient Tomb off the top. Let's make this easy. Another Show and Tell. Okay, don't daze me, please. Tilt. We're dead. That's always such a hero play to daze your opponent's cantrip. But when it works out, it looks really good. Ancient Tomb. Alright, always had it. Sucker. It would be very easy to die this turn. They now have mana up and can do stuff with this Glistener Elf. Skrelv, okay. This gives Hexproof, right? Hexproof and Toxic. Okay, yeah, this doesn't give protection, so if I can get a Traxa in, then we are actually blocking. My deck, land, please. Especially Ancient Tomb. Yep, easy. Please don't have Stifle. Infect is so annoying because they have like weird attack where it's like 1 Wasteland, 2 crop rotations, 1 Stifle, 2 days. Lists are ridiculous. I don't know if any of that's even true. Like, I haven't seen Skrelv in an Infect deck, but I haven't played against Infect since Skrelv was printed. So who the heck even knows? I do have multiple Show and Tells to punch these in, though. Show and Tell, let's go. I have a second Daze. Okay. I do have a second Show and Tell for next turn. If I get a next turn, they have 2 poison on board in 2 different ways. They got 4 cards in their hand that they haven't played out. Could be anything. Wasteland, yep. I guarantee they don't play more than 2 of those. It's just not how this deck works. I guess this could be some hyper low to the ground and tempo deck that just happens to have Infect creatures if they're lower on pump spells and higher on stability. Okay, this is cool. This gives Glistener Elf Toxic 1, which stacks on top of the Infect that it already has. So this is good for 3 poison. And now I need a land. Land? Lotus Petal counts. Let's see if they found what they were looking for with all those cantrips last turn. Don't tell. Yep, of course. Alright, we're dead. Okay, they had a nice little tempo game there. Almost any creature would have won that game, but specifically Glistener Elf. Can't be mad at that. Furies are coming in. Brotherhood's End. It's just all removal spells. I don't mind settling into kind of a control posture against this deck that already showed me it has Daze, Wasteland, and Force of Will. And a Clock. Defense. So there's 2 modes here. There are 2 wolves inside me. And I could bring in all my defense grids and just shove Show and Tell down their throat. I could bring in various removal spells and try to play control until I win that way. Doesn't help that I have no idea how to sideboard with this deck. Like, am I supposed to cut my forces and flusters if I'm bringing in defense grid? Is fluster still good and force bad? But they're also kind of a combo deck. My forces can win a fight over their force. I don't have defense grid, but if I do have defense grid, my forces are bad. I want all my payoffs and enablers. I want all my mana against this Wasteland Daze deck. I think I'm gonna go aggressive on the play. Do I want Furies in this deck on the play? I'm certainly gonna want them on the draw. I am gonna cut all my forces, which might seem crazy, but I'm willing to be a little crazy. I think I want to shave a Vesuvan Drifter. And do I want the extra Fury in here? Do I shave an Emrakul for this? Or an 8 isn't that many big payoffs. It might be too many. All right, I'm going to stop here. On the play with the defense grids in, I want maximum big idiots. Game 3 on the draw, I might cut a big idiot for a small idiot. I do want to take my chances against this Wasteland deck. I think I do. I don't think they have that many Wastelands. I can cantrip multiple times before I'm in trouble. I'm going to preordain first. Preordain sees fewer cards, but it sees them all in a straight line. Like, you can take all the cards you want and get rid of all the cards you don't want. Where Ponder, if you want one of the cards but not the other two, you have a decision to make. Okay. I'm going to play out the Petal so my defense grid doesn't get dazed. Then we're going to shove Show and Tell and put an Archon of Cruelty next turn and win the game. That's my plan. Or we get Spell Pierce now. That's fine. That's a Spell Pierce they don't have, and they mulled to 5. I would love to draw a land that gets me ahead of Soft Permission. Hit it. Okay, Show and Tell. I don't even mind if this gets countered because I have Sneak Attack to follow it up. Force Pitching Daze. Glad we drew that land. Ponder with 2 cards in hand. Any threat they deploy is something that's not interacting with my combo. Did not shuffle the Ponder and then did not play a land. I'm not going to shove Sneak Attack into every piece of Soft Permission. I can give myself a turn to develop here. Hardcast Fury next turn. Don't mind if I do. Don't shuffle. Pick up this Island. Island gives me Flusterstorm on whatever their plan is to fight over Sneak Attack next turn. 4 cards in their hand. Sneak Attack. Spell Pierce. Flusterstorm. This is what we're here for. I don't love that I know their hand is full of spells right now, and I just turned on Daze. But this is what we're here to do. Sneak Attack has resolved. I'm out of red mana because I had to use my Petal. Let's hope they can't kill or bounce this thing. Next turn I can Archon them and Emrakul them. Surgicaling what? Ponder? Okay. Not going to get Emrakul, but they see Fury Archon in hand. They get to look at my deck and sideboard plan before they probably just concede. And if they have a Boseiju or Recent Borrower, the game goes on. Okay, no, they just wanted to see my sideboard plan. Okay, now we're on the draw, where I kind of want to settle into this Izzet control deck with a spicy top end. Have we seen a basic land out of them? I don't think we have. Brotherhood's End is awkward with Magus of the Moon, though. If I cut a Show and Tell and an Emrakul, and cutting Show and Tell, that is the cheaper of my payoffs. And maybe I cut a Sneak Attack. I can Show and Tell, because we've seen Spell Pierce, not Flusterstorm. I have no counter spells or defense grids in my deck right now. I have only ways to put things on the stack. Oh, I have the 2 Flusters. That's what I have. I have a ton of removal and spicy things to tap out for. Go ahead, roast me in the comments for this sideboard plan, but it does seem to make sense. Another 1-lander. I am on the draw with a Ponder. I can fetch a basic. Alright, let's go. See if my opponent has Glistener Elfin Daze again. It's happening. I'd love to draw a land. Okay, cool. I can play around Daze with this Lotus Petal. Fetch basic Island, cast Ponder. They can decide if they want to trade Lotus Petal for Daze. I'm gonna shuffle this. I would have to use Preordain to bottom the other 2 cards anyway. That's just not a good deal. Not finding the land was also a bad deal. Storm on Ancient Tomb off the top. They're just playing land to go. I hate that. Ponder. That would have been a great target for Spell Pierce. I'm glad they didn't do it. Scalding Tarn is the find. Another Brainstorm. I'm worried now about them just finding Invigorate Berserk and killing me, because I don't have a good answer to that. The difference last game, where they were just not doing anything, that game favors me, but the one where my life total is being reduced, or my poison total, whatever we got here, definitely wanted this Brainstorm. And do I want a full value Brainstorm? There is an Emrakul on top that I know I don't want. Yeah, I am going to fetch here, and I'm going to get another basic island. Brainstorm. Okay, I found a land. What can I set up here? I could just play Drifter, which is both a blocker and a cool card. If I put... I'm going to have to shuffle anyway. How funny would it be if I played Drifter and the top card of my deck is Magus of the Moon and I just randomly lock them out of spells on their turn? That is pretty sweet. These Lotus Petals kind of bumming me out. Magus of the Moon might be past the point where it's good, though it is the type of thing I can put on the stack and they have to respect it. And then I would have... I have to use Lotus Petal to get on the stack. Man, Lotus Petal sucks compared to making a land drop. Okay, I have to shuffle anyway. I'm going to put back Magus of the Moon and try to actually win this game. And I guess Brand? No, it's Brotherhood's End. Okay. The Lotus Petal. Fetch for basic Mountain and play Drifter, which is not a spell pierceable spell. It is a Force of Willable spell, and that worked. I have the real fireworks in my hand still. Another Brainstorm. I'm jealous of all the Brainstorms they've cast this game. A lot more than me. And a Ponder. Up. They chose to shuffle. I like that. They're leaving up mana. I don't like that. Come on, Ancient Tomb. I need you now. This is the time for you to show up. Brainstorm. Fix this problem. Oh my god. This is not pretty. I could jam Magus of the Moon here, and that would actually stabilize the board if it resolves, which I don't have high hopes of. If I put back Traxa and Archon, or I think Emrakul is actually the worst creature here. I think I have to go for Magus. It sucks that it gets dazed, but it does actually stabilize and then win this game if it resolves, and it doesn't get spell pierced. Ugh. Right, yeah, they had the daze. I can preordain my way out of this starting next turn. Now they're pushing for the extra damage. At 5 poison, I'm going to have to preordain this Emrakul out of here. I can pay for Spell Pierce. Emrakul's gone, lands in. Pay the land. And once again, I find myself in the spot where Ancient Tomb is a great draw. Noble Hierarch, that doesn't change the amount of poison I'm taking this turn. They can just attack with fewer creatures to do it, have more mana up. And now any pump spell kills me. They don't seem to have one. Alright, deck. Mana Source, Ancient Tomb, Ancient Tomb. Okay, I'll take that. That is a mana source. And it's a sneaky one. Surgicaling Lotus Petal in response. Nice try. I have the other one. Let's hope that's their last line of defense. Please be out of gas, please be out of gas, please be out of gas. Oh my god, we're in there. So Grizzlebrand, now that the Lotus Petals are out of my deck, actually doesn't do what I want it to. Archon will get them Hellbent, draw me 2 cards, and kill 2 of their 3 creatures at least. Yeah, I think it's Archon. Like, getting them Hellbent and having only 1 poison on board when they're dead next turn. And I did have lands. I do still have my land drop, so maybe Grizzlebrand was better, but Archon could still draw a land too. And if they play a card that interacts with Archon, then they're also still Hellbent, because that card's gone and then they discard. Looks like they want to lose their Inkmoth Nexus rather than their Glistener Elf. Fine. Another Archon. Back. They lose Noble Hierarch and their last card in hand. Okay, they're at 3, and if they draw a pump spell, they win. If they don't, I win. And that's the whole game. A land is not a pump spell. Oh my goodness, that was a stressful but exciting one. Yeah, the sideboard plan of basically no counter magic, but a higher density of things that have to be countered is certainly a bold one. But yikes. Okay, GG, opponent. On to the next round. We're still undefeated somehow. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. On the draw for round 3 with a handful of permission cantrips and a B. Just gotta find an A. We're against a Wooded Foothills deck. My opponent just said hi YouTube. Everyone say hi, Hong Zhang. I'm gonna ponder off of a basic island. Glad I didn't just get got by the classic Wooded Foothills stifle trick. Okay, there's my B to go with my A. There are the mana sources to develop around it as well. I can even play around Daze, or I could shove it on turn 2 with Force backup. I got a lot of options here. Good place to be. For those who don't know the Wooded Foothill trick, Rug Delver back in the day was a stifle deck, and all of their lands were volcanic islands or tropical islands, all of which get fetched by Wooded Foothills, which is not a blue fetch, so it's just a cheeky little wink wink, I'm not a blue deck, you're safe, and then stifle. Not going to shuffle this ponder. Back in the day, it actually became so prevalent, the Wooded Foothills trick, that the level system then became play Flooded Strand, because everybody knows Wooded Foothills means stifle, and Flooded Strand doesn't. It's a very stupid thing in the history of Legacy. Okay, my opponent has played 3 non-blue lands. I can shove in a Grizzlebrand into play here. Don't know what is going to happen if I do that, but that's the fun. I think I'm just going to fetch my basics. I can afford to do that, so what the heck. If they are a Wasteland deck and can answer Grizzlebrand. I could also play Drifter and sculpt around this Grizzlebrand for a turn. Run out this Lotus Petal. Grizzlebrand is certainly more powerful than Vesuvan Drifter, but if I can play this game without giving up goods, that's appealing to me. I have a Flusterstorm and a Force available here. Oh, surprise, you are a Force of Will Brazen Borrower deck. Storm count is 3 because of Lotus Petal. Flusterstorm is big money here. I'll use my Fluster on this. It's not really a 2-for-1 because I had to use Lotus Petal. It's a 2-for-2, but hopefully this Drifter does the work. I'd be impressed if this was a Daze deck. I guess it could be. Oh, this looks like Rhinos. I think that's what's going on here. They're gonna like Violent Outburst in my end step, or untap and play Minsc and Boo. I think that's what this deck is. I will force a can of Rhinos if it comes to that. Yep, okay. Figured it out. This is not a deck that can play Daze. Force pitching Preordain. I still like the backup Show and Tell. Oh, okay. Force and Negation pitching Murktide Regent. Okay, can of Rhinos versus Grizzlebrand is now the game. I don't have a spicy blocker, so they are going to get in for 8. Does make Grizzlebrand worse. Let's just hope Emrakul is on top of my deck this turn. Draw the Volcanic Island, show you Emrakul, GG. Brazen, or Petty Theft, that. Okay. And I'd rather have Grizzlebrand in play between these 2 cards. Okay, Show and Tell. What's your last card? Please don't. It can't be Red Blast. Here's Grizzlebrand. Hope you're dead. Okay, they're Hellbent versus a Grizzlebrand. I'm not going to draw any cards now. Not till I get a good attack in. Then we can make decisions. They've used 2 Petty Thefts already. Fire Ice wins this game. Okay, cool. Fire Ice and Brazen Borrower were their outs there. Okie dokie. Playing against some Rhinos. This is a deck with 4 Force of Will and 4 Force of Negation. Grafdigger's Cage. Does this stop Cascade? Does Cascade exile? Or I think you you reveal until you see a card, then you exile it, then you cast it. So it's not being cast out of the deck. Is that accurate? I better look that up. Yes, Cascade does exile all the cards. It's not just revealing them. So Grafdigger's Cage does nothing against Cascade. Pyroblast, pretty cool. Defense Grid, also pretty cool. I think I want the grids and not the blasts. This is not a deck that can play soft permission, so I think my Daze Insurance in the Monkey and the Pedal can go a little lighter. I love Flusterstorm. I like Force of Will. Drifter is cool that it dodges Force of Negation, which is half of the counterspells they're allowed to play. I'll shave a Sneak Attack. Oh wait, I already had the correct number. Oh, I needed a 3rd defense grid. I was like, wait, why isn't this adding up? We got there. Let's go. This hand looks good to me. Misty Rainforest is the start. Just gonna Island Go. Flusterstorm is a huge deal. It beats the crap out of Cascade. And this is a Spirit Guide deck, so they could Cascade in my end step there. They didn't. They could Cascade now. See what happens. There's a long pause in the main phase, then they started passing priority again. I think they have Spirit Guide Cascade spell, and they were just trying to figure out when the correct time to deploy it was, or if they want to shove through. I'm just going to land go here. Brainstorm plus Fetch Land is a powerful combo. We're making moves in the end step. What do we got? We're going to ice my island. Yeah, we are. I'm going to Brainstorm in response. Ooh, look at all these powerful lands. I have Show and Tell with multiple payoffs next turn. Okay, I think I'd rather have Ancient Tomb between Tomb and City. I'm going to put back City and Atraxa. Or is it just Drifter? Is Drifter just bad? I have Force, blue card, Flusterstorm here to back up. I could put back the 2nd Force. This Drifter is also a blue card. Okay, I think I want to do it like that. And no harm, no foul there. Oh, I should have fetched before they untap. Now if I fetch, they get to Cascade through Flusterstorm. But they can't really play around this that well. Okay, they did have the Shardless Agent, Spirit Guide. Ooh, a bribery. Sick juke. It's not going to work, but I respect it. And I'm just going to get basic island. I don't think that this is a Wasteland deck. I can play around it, so I will. I thought there were Rhinos coming, but they were going to take my Emrakul. Dirty Pool. Okie dokie. Show and Tell's going on the stack. I have to decide what monster I'm putting in here. Atraxa draws the most cards. Emrakul kills them the fastest. Force pitching Shardless Agent. Force pitching Drifter. Or maybe I was supposed to pitch Atraxa there because Drifter is a better backup plan. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to pitch Atraxa there. And I'm going to go with Archon because they're running out of cards in their hand, and I would like their hand completely empty. I like the discard aspect of Archon a lot. It stabilizes the board and messes with their hand. If their last card in hand is Brazen Borrower right now, that is tentatively stable, but then they're Hellbent, and we're hanging out. We'll land number 3. Now Brazen Borrower can Petty Theft and actually arrive. Let's see what actually happens here. I'm going to go to combat. Alright, we're in combat. I don't know how this goes wrong from here. Discarded Spirit Guide. Yeah, I guess that's the same as playing it. Except doesn't cost you 3. And 1, 2, 3, Vesuvan Drifter with a Brainstorm to set it up. And another Show and Tell. Oh yeah, they're so dead. That was a comfortable victory. Still remain undefeated going into round 4. Let's do it.
Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe.
I'm on the draw in round 4. I'm not afraid of a one-lander with Force of Will and this many cantrips. Snow-covered island. Found a sneak attack. Not really what I'm looking for on this board. Basic island just in case, and I am going to ponder this time. I have so many cantrips. That's a little awkward, but not the worst. This mountain does not really help my hand, other than eventually cast a 3-drop. But I'm happy to see that show and tell. Oh, okay. I was about to say, is this a mirror match? But not with Destiny Spinner, it's not. Return enchantment spells can't be countered, so if I'm going to Force of Will this, it's now or never. Or I can use Force to protect my jam spell. But if you're an enchantment deck, I'm probably not going to want to show and tell against you. Awkward. I am going to force this pitching preordain. It's not going to counter anything else if I don't counter this. Emrakul's on top of my deck. I'm going to ponder and hope there's another land under it. Okay, cool. This is what I want out of life right now. I'm going to leave Emrakul on top and draw the Misty. Pass. I'll probably play Vesuvan Drifter next turn and just start to work up through their interaction. Oh, another spinner. Okay, sure. That's a card you have. Fetch. I don't expect this to be a Wasteland deck. Hope I'm right. I like both testing counterspells here and presenting something that doesn't let them put Shark Typhoon or Omniscience or whatever it is that they're doing with Destiny Spinner into play. Land on top. Okay, so the land is a good draw for sneak attack purposes, and I have Ponder to set up a potential monster battle. Ancient Tomb, okay. My suspicions that this is some kind of show and tell deck. I don't know. It can't be Battle of Wits. I'm just trying to think of enchantments that you would want to ramp into and want to resolve. My creature on top without having to look? Alright, I guess I have to look. Ponder, set it up. Second Vesuvan Drifter, not really what I'm after here. It's funny though. I'm gonna grab the other Ponder, take another spin at this. Get to see one more fresh card, and there's a fetch land there which can shuffle again. I'd rather just shuffle. Found Lotus Petal, and I found Brainstorm, which sets up Emrakul. Now you're in trouble. Put back Show and Tell and Emrakul. Combat. Yes. Attack. Oh yeah, Vesuvan Drifter, what's up? That was fun. Okay, I don't really know what my opponent's doing, except that they have Destiny Spinner and Ancient Tomb in their deck with blue and green mana. It's certainly not Magus of the Moon with all those basics. Fury does kill Spinner, and I could just hit submit and change nothing. I did see blue mana, so maybe I just bring in Pyroblast as a generic hedge. I genuinely have no idea what my opponent is doing. Blue-green Enchantress is not unheard of, but it's like a Cloud of Fairies deck with Words of Wisdom and stuff. We didn't see any of that. I don't know what the specific build is up to. Maybe Flusterstorm is bad if they have both. If they care about making creatures and enchantments uncounterable, Flusterstorm does not interact with those permanent types anyway. I think I'm just going to side grade into Pyroblast and hope this is right. I just don't know what my opponent is doing right now. Okay, Brainstorm and a bunch of fast mana. I'm in. Not the prettiest hand, but it has a plan. Ponder from the opponent, and they mulled to 6. Did not shuffle. Pyroblast, easy game. Volcanic Island, go. I think I'm going to blast this. Just want to get aggressive here. I don't know what they're doing, but I would like it to stop. Another island. At all, that's fun. Don't know that I need more mana here. Okay. Suddenly interested in as much mana as I can get with this sneak attack. What does this turn look like? If I put back Emrakul and Grizzlebrand, I can pay 7 to get the Emrakul. Yes, I'm just going to pass and then dump out all this business next turn. Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal. I put Sneak Attack on the stack here. They're representing all manner of interaction here. But Spell Pierce doesn't work here, but they don't know that. Daze doesn't work, and you know that. I'm trying to start the chain without shuffling so I can get the Taylor Swift in this turn. Hit him for 22. Spell Pierce, okay. I will pay for this. Having Sneak Attack in play is of my interest. Pay for this and let it ride for a turn. Could have fetched Basic Island there. And this could easily be a Back to Basics deck. That's a powerful enchantment in these colors that would incentivize all these basics that they're playing. I am holding the Basic Mountain to just rock. Oh! Spider-Man pointing meme. There's some haste creature on top of your deck that's going to kill me right now. Okay. All right, Spider-Man. Okay. This should be a bloodbath from here. Put an Archon first. Kill this Drifter. Oh, Veil of Summer. Clever. Put in Grizzlebrand in response and try to draw a counterspell for a Veil. Or another Archon. Do I want to go to 3 here? It's probably fine. Let's go. And there's a Force. Force, pitching, Show and Tell, and I have another Force. I could go to 1. They have 1 card left. They're not beating this. Oh, I was kind of right. They seem to be some kind of pseudo-mirror. Omni-Show pseudo-mirror. But we'll never know exactly what they were up to. And we are 4-0, facing down a trophy match. Let's go. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop. And be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw in the trophy round. I can turn 1 Grizzlebrand, if that is appropriate. Definitely keeping this hand with AB and the means to cast it. I don't think I'm going to shove that into a Scalding Tarn. Oh wow, I can play around Daze too. Could also wait a turn, see what shakes loose. Yeah, I think I'm going to give this a turn to develop. Maybe I'm a coward. Is JPA jamming this hand? Maybe. Trick me with a Scalding Tarn. They were supposed to play Windswept Heath. Brainstorm from my opponent. Hopefully they're brainstorming away all their Force of Wills right now. Then we're off to the races. I'm just going to draw Flusterstorm, easy game. Or a Sneak Attack, or a second Show and Tell. Just something to give me a second wave here. Or protection for the first wave would be great. I am jamming this turn though. Can't stop me. Maybe my opponent can stop me, but you can't stop me from trying. Which is all we can ask of ourselves in life. Miss every shot you don't take. Right, Wayne Gretzky? Opponent is in the tank on this Brainstorm. My goodness. This thing's been on the stack for a full minute now, at least. Okay, there we go. Oh. They're Brainstorm locked. And we're just trying to mitigate the damage. Flusterstorm off the top. Ancient Tomb. Okay. Against a Brainstorm locked opponent, guess I am just going to shove, as was the plan all along. And I can get Basic Island here. How'd we do? No counter spells in those 9 cards. Just a Daze. Daze concede. Daze concede. Or it might be tempting to let this resolve if they have a cool permanent to put in. Oh my god. Am I getting punished here? Did I just... Oh my god. Maybe. I have to beat an Omniscience. Yikes! Opponent may have leveled me here. What can I do about this? Can I win now? Is there anything to be done? I don't have an Omniscience in my deck. I do have 2 counter spells to fight over what comes out of this Omniscience. That's awkward. Okay. I'm just gonna pass into their turn and hope I can outmuscle an Omniscience. Not an easy thing to do. And we know their hand is all spells. Lotus Petal, cast it for 0. Powerful. Okay. God. Traxa, suddenly on the stack. Guess I have to Force of Will this. First pitching Ponder. Flusterstorm does work here. Oh my god. We're getting a turn. How did this happen? Okay. Wow. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. I'm going to pay 7. There's the sneak attack I wanted. There is nothing to sneak in, though. Yet. There still could be. Okay, Brainstorm. Wow, that was disappointing. No Emrakul, no anything. Put back Volcanic Island and Ancient Tomb. Guess I have to attack first. Don't even know if there's a fetchable land left in my deck right now. Do know the opponent couldn't win with what they had last turn, which is really interesting. Okay, Volcanic Island, Volcanic Island. Yeah, there should be fetchables left here. Did I just put one back too? Did I know that already? I think I did. Okay, do I want to play Drifter? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to hold up horses and blue cards and take another turn eating up this Omniscience action. Volcanic Island, land. Not casting another show and tell this game. And do I need 2 sneak attacks? Do I need Brainstorm in the face? I don't need the Spirit Guide. Brainstorm, okay. Force Flusterstorm still available. Versus Grizzlebrand, that must have come off the top, or they would have played it already. Not enough science in the world to stop what I was doing. Even if you know all of it. Okay, a show and tell mirror. Got away with something there, that's for sure. Pyroblast coming in if they're... I guess I don't know what flavor of show and tell they are. They could just be sneak and show with an Omniscience in their deck. They could be blue-green, dedicated Omni show. Hard to be sure. I definitely want my Pyroblasts. I want my Drifters. Those break the show and tell parity. Could also board out some show and tells, because I do have these 4 extra pieces. I have 10 asymmetric or 8 asymmetrical pieces and 2 symmetrical ones of my 10 payoffs. I think that's fine. I think this is my strategic advantage that I have in a show and tell mirror. I'm not quite interested in bringing in Furies and trying to get real scrappy on the board. Yeah, this makes sense to me. Oh dear. This hand is so tempting, but it's missing both a blue card and the next red source to get it going. I think if I had one or the other, I'd be in. I'm mulligan this, though. Okay, here we go. Keep this. I don't like that it only has 1 land, but we'll figure that out later. I'll bottom the Emrakul. I'm not ready for that. My goal is to fight over their show and tell, not let it resolve and put an Emrakul. Oh, it's on 5. It's not very many. Did I see a Tropical Island last game? Maybe I did. I don't know. I had in my head going into sideboard that they're Omni show, because we saw Omni. Ponder chose to shuffle. Mull to 5, shuffle Ponder. You love to see it. I'm going to play out these 2 mana sources. I have 3 pieces of interaction up against their 4-card hand. The thing that I could do, if I were so inclined, is let their show and tell resolve, put in sneak attack, and then force whatever they play and Pyroblast the Omni. But then if they put in just Emrakul, I'm in the garbage. They know I'm sitting on mono spells over here. Uh-oh. Getting weird. They're going to need to give me a target for Pyroblast soon or I'll be going to discard. They're content to play land go. I don't blame them. Can I have a land, please? Nope. No such luck. I'm going to discard. It's one of the monsters. I think Archon is worse than Grizzlebrand. But if I have Archon, then I can let their Omniscience resolve no matter what. And I'm covered if they put in Emrakul. And Archon creates a trigger that gives priority to me before they can even cast something out of Omniscience. Alright, cool. We're doing it. Unlocking the action here. They might just hard cast Omniscience before I do anything, though, the way this is shaping up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Could cast Atraxa here. Okay. Found an Ancient Tomb. I'm not going to try to force the action. I have 7 cards in my hand. Screw beats Flood. Just play this out a little longer, see what happens. There we go. Right now I can put this thing on the stack, Pyroblast, Force, and still rock out. Sneak attack. This Archon's not lethal, but it does mess with what they're doing and draw me a bunch of cards. They're forcing me. Like a fine time to cast Pyroblast. A force pitching a card when have mana to cast force is interesting. They pitch Daze, so I'm probably not going to Pyroblast again. My next interaction is going to be forcing Veil of Summer. That's for sure. Now, if this stack clears, there'll be a Hellbent from the Archon. They've got more. Second Veil of Summer would be a giant beating. Didn't fetch green with it, though. Hard casting Daze. I have to pay. This will buy them a turn to do stuff, but at least I have Sneak Attack in play. Alright, one card in hand. If they can thread the needle here. I don't even know what the needle is. But they look pretty dead from my point of view. Oh, they're doing something. Oh, they're casting Atraxa. That's cool. Yep, fair enough. That resolves. What do we got here? Anything that answers a Sneak Attack? Surgical Extraction on Grizzlebrand is live, but I have Archon, not that. Could Surgical my Pyroblast and leave Atraxa in play, but Archon's going to chew her up anyway. Let's just see what they take. Land Veil of Summer is actually a beat, because now I can't Edict them unless I draw any blue card to force it. Ugh. They can't have Flusterstorm, Surgical, Brainstorm, and Veil, and Pyroblast. Those are, and Intuition. This is a lot of instants. They're going to have to make a real decision here. And now that Sneak Attack resolved, they might not prioritize Veil unless they expect exactly Archon. I don't know. We'll see how this shakes out. All I can do is let them resolve their trigger at this point. But we are like one Sneak Attack activation away from going nuts here. All right, they took Misty, Brainstorm, and Atraxa. And I assume Ponder as well, but it didn't tell me that. Oh no, it did tell me that. They also have the Ponder. Yep, there's the Ponder. Okay, they didn't take the Veil. I think we're a click away from a trophy here. Don't fail me now, deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I play this Lotus Petal, I can hardcast Force, just in case there's some emergency that I can't comprehend. Archon of Cruelty. Get your creature out of here, please. Can I draw a monster right away and finish this game out? Brainstorm, I'm going for it. Let's find a monster. Find a monster. They're at 2 on board. That turns off Ancient Tomb for the rest of the game. Even if I miss here, I have a Pyroblast still for interaction, and they're going to have to discard another card. Even if I whiff here, we're still in pretty good shape. If I find any blue card, I can pass holding up, force Pyroblast, but then I'm going to have to find another payoff for Sneak Attack eventually. That's not actually great. I'm going to keep the Show and Tell on top to draw a blue card for force. But then I'm going to have to shuffle before my next draw. Maybe that didn't even make sense, and I was supposed to get rid of that. Alright, opponent's at 2. Their hand does contain Atraxa. Sneak Attack. Force, pitching Show and Tell. Glad I prioritized that. Alright, now we need to draw a monster. Opponent has Atraxa and 1 mystery card in their hand. Oh, here we go. The biggest insult to end the league. Blammo. We've officially done everything on the Show and Tell bucket list, on our way to a tasty little trophy. Yeah, Vesuvan Drifter was an official badass throughout this entire league. It gave us a whole different dimension of game that our opponent had to think about. It genuinely created interesting tension of, like, Show and Tell, you just know you have to force it or counter it or interact with it in some way or you're dead. Vesuvan Drifter, you might even have the force, and it's like, well, what if their top card is never a payoff? Like, do I waste interaction on this? And you put them under real stress. Also, just higher density of hits. More A's to pay out the B's. I don't think this is enough to get me to personally enjoy Show and Tell. But after round 1, game 1, where we hit our fail rate, we didn't go anywhere near a fail rate again after that point and just ran roughshod over this whole league, beating counterspells and hate cards and Show and Tell mirrors all around. I don't play enough of this deck to know if this is the correct spread of monsters, but it felt pretty good. Maybe Vesuvan Drifter as a 4 in your deck prioritizes Archon of Cruelty or Emrakul, or Atraxa is the one that is the worst with Drifter. Because Archon and Emrakul immediately get attack triggers, and then Grizzlebrand you can just start paying 7 off your Drifter. Atraxa is the one that's just stats when you reveal it off the top of your deck. So maybe we want fewer Atraxa and more Archon in a 4x Drifter build. But those weeds can be gone into by folks who are going to put more time into this. This is my contribution to the show and tell community for the year. 4x Vesuvan Drifter was pretty sick. Justin, thank you for the invitation to play this deck. Always happy to put another trophy on the channel, especially with a new card. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.